Hey, my little hatchlings, welcome back to the Hooked Dragon. And if you're new here, hello, hello. I'm Krista. I talk about amigurumi plushies, yarn, safety eyes, markets, and everything in between. Today, Friday, it's Friday here too. I'm running a little behind. We're going to talk about the plushies that I was able to make since Tuesday's make video. So let's go ahead and dive into those makes right now. All right, so if you saw my reel on Instagram or on YouTube, you already know what this first um, couple of makes are. I have made these fairy tale chicks from Blossom Moon Crafts UK. I made the knight and the dragon so far. There's also a mermaid, a unicorn, a fairy, and a wizard that I still need to make. The chicks themselves are no-sew and don't take very much time at all. You do embroider their nose on. I did find some quick cheats just because I've been crocheting for so long for like service crocheting certain things on that it wanted you to crochet separately and then sew on. The costumes can take a while, but they are so cool, and I'm wanted something really fun for my 2 markets in April. I know, I got a second market that I am going to be doing in April, but anyways, these are interactive a little bit. Like, you can put the visor down on the knight. The shield has an option to, like, do a slip yarn through to hold it in place, but I went ahead and sewed it on because I was thinking to myself, if that falls off in one of my totes and I'm at a market and I'm trying to hurry and get stuff set up, I'm not going to want to be messing around with the shield. Not to mention that kids tend to play with stuff. There's some Christmas stuff with like Christmas hats that I need to sew on this market. I learned last year that kids like to take things off. And then, like, if you have this is a sidetrack, but I had one kid who would literally be like messing with tags and things at one market and like trying to like pull a fast one on me and like so everything gets sewn on now. So anyways, next up, I made Ducking Mad from Frankie Stitches Co. This thing is so cute. I first saw this on What's Up Cupcakes channel and I was like, oh my goodness, that is so cute. I need to make it. And then she had that cute little Instagram thing. Um, it is a duckling. I think it'll still do really well Easter time with the birds and things. And yeah, it's so cute. This pattern does have some sewing. You do sew on the feet and the knife and the wings. Excuse me. The beak is surface crocheted, and I think that it looks really cool. It has like a little bit of a curve to it, like the way that you surface crochet it on. You can bend it with your hand a little bit to get that. You do embroider the eyebrows on, and you surface chain out the hair. But a very quick make. I definitely want to make a couple more of these just because I do have 2 markets back to back. Well, when I say back to back, like weekend after weekend, and I want to make sure that I have enough fun stuff. Um, but he is super cute. He's one of my favorite makes from this week. So those guys were fun to make, and I definitely want to make those other fairy chicks too. Okay, so I make my splinters out of Parfait Chunky, and a lot of that has to do with cost of materials. I do only charge $30, and I have a ton of Parfait Chunky that I'm trying to work through. So um, I will be able to show you kind of a comparison between Parfait Chunky and Demi Pearl and like how much bigger it is working with a bigger yarn compared to the Parfait Chunky. These guys do turn out pretty small in Parfait Chunky. So these are by Snuggle Beans Crochet. The first one I made is the bunny. I've only made the bunny one other time last year, I think around June or July or something like that. I don't know. Whenever she came out with it, I made it, but then um, it sold at the very first market that I brought it to, and I just didn't make another one. But I love this bunny. He is so cute. I do not do the fur tail because I don't really like working with fur in the round. It's a pain in the tush. So I just went ahead and did just the tail in Parfait Chunky. Hand painted customize, pink little safety nose. I will say, I don't know if you'll be able to tell on camera, but this is seal gray, and I used what was remaining of a like partial skein, and then I had to grab a new one, and the colorways were slightly different. The new lot that I grabbed was a darker, shinier gray, so the ears in person look ever so slightly darker and ever so slightly shinier than the head. Most of the body was worked in it, so you know. I did do marshmallow for the cream. I think I want to make a brown one with the marshmallow too. He is just so cute. And these work up fairly quick considering that, there's bits and parts, but you crochet the um, arms and the legs in because you make them beforehand. Same with the tail. The only things that you have to sew on are the head and the ears to the head. Next up, I've had this pattern since Snuggle Beans Crochet came out with it, but this is my first time making it, and that is the Highland Cow. He's so cute. And these are some hand painted, well, glittered safety eyes that I made myself. I used almond butter for the nose and the horns, chestnut for the body color, and then chocolate for the hooves. And I think that color looks really good together for a Highland cow because Highland cows are kind of like a reddish brown. Very, very cute. This one, you sew on the hair, you sew on the horns. Everything else is crocheted around except for the head. You always, almost always, or you do always sew the head on in the splitting series. It's really late, so my voice is weird, and my brain is what's going on? Why are we still awake? So next up, this is why I ordered that Michael's Demi Pearl Moonless, More Moonless Night, and then the Tibetan Red. These do not last very long for me, but I kind of call him the axolotl dragon because he looks like an axolotl. I hand painted safety eyes. I think these are 35s. I used like a fine glitter that kind of changes, I don't know if you're able to tell, to like a little bit of yellow because he has greenish yellow eyes. But very, very cute. And I made this in Demi Pearl. The body is very similar in rounds and increases and everything like that to the other bodies. So you can see how much of a difference it is in size. I mean, like he can pick up this bunny rabbit and carry it off. Big difference. So, and then I made another Snuggle Beans crochet pattern. This is not a splooter. I do need to come back and use a black cotton thread to sew these on a little bit tighter. I usually do that for all of the playful posed dragons, just because when it's on a slippery surface, it does kind of splay out just a little bit, ever so slightly, even though I sewed all the way down here. Like you can't really tell because it's black, but I sewed all the way down here. But it does splay out ever so slightly. I mean, the bottom's still raised and it's structurally still good and all that. But yeah, the spikes are optional in her pattern, but I like them, so I went ahead and did it. Especially since this is a big make in Demi Pearl, I wanted to make sure that it had all the extras, all the bells and the whistles, you know, the whole, can't think, the whole caboodle. So anyways, I made that. And I do have to pause here to go grab the 1.5 makes that I made because I used E6000 glue to glue something on one of them. And so I had it kind of like pressed down while I was filming so far, just so that it would be dry, hopefully, in time for me to show it. So I'm gonna go grab those really quick. All right, these next patterns are actually next pattern is a new pattern that just came out this Monday and I've been waiting. I've been so excited. And that is the Celestial Homebodies Moonkeeper. So I'm going to start with the one that I couldn't finish. Couldn't even finish one ear. I ran out of this pale lilac color. So I have that coming, but it's not here yet. But just for size comparison, here's the one that I made with Parfait Chunky because I have so much Parfait Chunky. Big difference. All right, so let me go ahead and talk about this one because this one's done. He's so cute. I kind of went with like a sunflower forest leafy kind of thing, and for the belly button I did a little flower with an orange resin gem. And then for the star, I kind of made it into a little flower or sunflower. And then these eyes are actually from a batch that I was messing around with. And it's kind of trying to go with like a camo kind of color. And I think I did a pretty good job, but these were the ones that I liked the least. So figured I'd go ahead and use them because they worked really well with this because they have the green and the brown and like a green glitter and yellow. And then I did a little bunny. It's so tiny, fuzzy tail. It's so cute though. Like look at that little look at that little tail. Um I love the Celestial Homebodies patterns. I do have to do a lot of adjusting because she yarns over she yarn over yarn overs. I yarn under yarn over, which took me a while to get used to because for like 30 years I was a yarn over yarn over. But I just like the way that the plushies look with the yarn under yarn over. So I forced myself to learn to do that. It is a little bit slower than yarn over, just probably because I was used to holding the hook forever a certain way or moving a certain way. But I like the way the stitches look a lot better. So I switched over. But I did do like a little bit of face shaping with like a little tiny bit of yarn up here just to um, add a little bit of an eyelid type effect and also bring those eyes kind of more up. I did embroider a little nose and a little mouth thing. I think that this Moonkeeper is adorable, and I'm actually going to take this to my next event for sure, which I think that he'll probably go home with somebody that day, I think. He's just too cute. But that is the last thing I made, and that's what I was working on before I could even film this video. So cute. These are so huggable. I did a little bit of embroidery on here just to kind of give the moon like a leaf kind of veiny effect. I really like how she did the little heart end for the ears too. So cute. So, so cute. Okay, well that is all that I got made since Tuesday's video. So Wednesday, I didn't really do much Tuesday. So Wednesday, Thursday, and I was working on stuff today. So we'll say Friday. I mean, because technically it's 2 a.m. on Friday. Sure. I guess it's more like Wednesday and Thursday. I got the 2 chicks in fairy tale costumes made, the ducking mad, the 2 dragons, and the 2 spluters. So, and then the Moonkeeper. And I'm not going to count the other Moonkeeper. I'll probably show that in Tuesday's video when I can finish that. So I made 8 things, and they were all, majority of them were pretty medium to big makes. The fairy tale chicks took a while because you make the chick, which is pretty quick, but the costume can take a bit, especially since it was my first time doing that pattern. And the ducking mad pattern didn't take that long at all. I'd say that was probably my least time intensive pattern. I don't know if you can see my dog. Kind of. She's sleeping. She's like, you should be sleeping too. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So don't forget to like and subscribe if you want to see what I make next, or make sure you don't miss any of my market recaps when I start doing markets. So far, it's looking like my first 2 are going to be in April. So until next time, stay hooked.